Welcome to John Wayne Lied to You, the podcast featuring me, John Wayne. That's right, here I am in the neon palace of sin in fabulous downtown Las Vegas, Nevada. I am home from the road, my first trip out for the year. I can't wait to tell you all about it, but thank you all for joining me again for another episode. Hopefully you're checking out the video feed. We are doing it video-wise, guys. It is a lot of fun to do. I hope you're enjoying it. Hey, you know what you can do. You can, first of all, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just John Wayne Lied to You, just like the show, but it's all one word, like John Wayne is dead, because I like to be like that. But also subscribe to that. Then, if you have anything to say to the podcast, you want to ask me questions to the podcast. What, like the podcast is a separate entity or something? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe the podcast has become sentient and I am no longer necessary. If you think so, you can let me know. Email us at johnwayneliedtoyou@gmail.com. You can ask me anything. You can just comment on the show. You could forward me your spam. I don't know. At this point, just somebody let me know that I'm not just screaming into the void. All of that is appreciated. Any feedback, johnwayneliedtoyou@gmail.com. But hey, we're not here to talk about Gmails. We're here to talk about all of these things and your wonderful people. But first of all, we'll start with some coffee. I've got my, ooh, look at that. If you could see, the steam is rising. The cream rises, just like Macho Man says. The steam is rising off this. This is good coffee I got from Mexico City by my Tia Lete across the way there. She is, thank you for that, Tia Lete, and everybody who got that and brought it back. Thank you. Oh, that is good coffee. Good coffee. Yeah. Very good. But also we've got, oh my goodness, a heaping, piping hot bowl of Grandpappy's medicine. That's right. Look at that gorgeous green on the screen. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. That is, now, this is a little bit different. Now, like I said, I was on the road and I was coming back from Texas, and, you know, everybody knows the first stop back from Texas when you go through Texas is New Mexico, where weed is legal there. So I stop usually at the first dispensary I can find. I try to do different ones while I'm there just to check them all out. And this was no exception. So I stopped at a dispensary on the way back to New Mexico. I wish I remember the name, but I don't. And I got this weed right here. It's a strain called Brain Stain. It's a sativa. It is 28%, and it is by a company called Perico. That is a very cool little packaging there, like a little gangster dude on it. I like that. And it was cool. And so I stopped in there. The dude that was working was very, very cool. Super nice, chatted for a little bit. I picked up a infused joint from them that was about like fucking 57%. I was super high. It was awesome. And then I picked up this very cheap eighth. They had great prices. It was a great little time. So let's take a little taste of this Brain Stain. Look at that. Oh, Brain Stain. Whew. Here's some like video effects we got going on here, guys. I don't know, but very good. I have to tell you, this is so tasty. I think I fucked the camera up doing this. Now it's all crooked. So it's all right. I'll just look like I'm in a Batman villain lair this whole time. This is very fucking good. It tastes delicious, and I'll tell you this. It's been getting me fucking high as hell. It was a great thing that I needed, a great pick-me-up, and what a time to be alive, honestly. So, great. More coffee. Excellent. So, anyway, let's get the show started. Shouts out to all my Patreon people, guys. Thank you so much for being on my Patreon. I appreciate you immensely. It is very, very humbling and awesome that you think enough of me to throw me a little extra support, which especially now that traveling has started for the year, it's very much appreciated. So if you want to check out my Patreon, it is at patreon.com/johnwayneisdead, or just go to johnwayneisdead.com. I have all of that linked right there for you. It's right there. Just check it out. There's so many tiers you can join that get you certain things, but everybody gets access to what is on the Patreon wall, including the awesome Dude for Life Boner Bonus podcast, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show, but that's the show where I talk to other artists of all walks of life, all ages, all parts of the world, and not just the country, and all kinds of different disciplines, not just writers. I mean, we've been having some writers lately, and you know we have some great writers coming up, but it's about to start getting a little bit different. We have actors, models, we have singers, bands, all kinds of other artists, visual artists, graphic artists. It's a great show. I love doing it because I love to talk to other creative people just about their process and how they do things and what, you know, how they work. It's just fun to learn and to talk to new and different people. And you can check this out every single week. It is also a video podcast on the wall, or you can listen to the audio version as well. I put both of those up, but it's a lot of fun. And no matter what tier you subscribe to on my Patreon, for as little as $3 a month, you get access to that. Plus, I drop a lot of exclusives on the wall, including things that are coming up, different kind of promotion. And you, if you're on Patreon, you're going to know about a lot of things before they get posted anywhere else, a la John Wayne. So patreon.com/johnwayneisdead or johnwayneisdead.com. Check it out at that Patreon link. I appreciate any support, just listening to the show. Hey, thanks guys. Share it with your friends. That is amazing. Where are we at right here? Oh, I don't know if you can see in the background of my little set piece here, but I wanted to share this little guy with you. It is a bat. This is a little a plushkin bat or something. I forget what they're called exactly, but minkies. That's it. And if you're watching the video, you're seeing I'm holding it up here. That is my artwork that is in the interior wings and the interior of the ears of this very cute, adorable project that I have a collaborator with. This is from my very good friends at Love Pollution, Daisy and Jasmine. Daisy does these, and she is amazing. She's an amazing artist, an amazing craftsperson, and I mean, these are awesome. If you're seeing this bat is pretty big. There's going to be small ones as well. It's all of my art is in the wings and ears, and there's a pink background version that will come out as well. All of this is coming out very soon on a collab. That's not, oh Jesus, that's not even what bats make. But I wanted to show you guys this because it's fucking rad. I took it with me on my trip. It sat in the front seat on the road. So check it out. And hey, if you haven't checked out Love Pollution, check them out. They're awesome. Out of LA. I do a lot of shows with them, and all their stuff is great. Everything Daisy makes just flies off her shelves. Like literally she makes as many as she can, brings them, and that's like she's sold out in like an hour and a half or something. It's incredible. So check out Love Pollution. So anyway, let's see what else we got going on, guys. This week I was in Texas. I was on the road. I did a bunch of stuff. It was extremely busy. There was a lot of music stuff, a lot of filming, and a lot of book slinging. I did a show out in San Antonio, which we will talk about a little bit later in the show. But it was a very busy time. I know we missed we didn't have a show last Friday because I was on the road. It was just I was trying to get it all ready and get everything together, but it just wasn't happening. So I was like, let me get home, do a show proper, which is what I'm trying to do. So it was a great time. I drove by myself, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I saw Chris Jett. He and I filmed a new music video, a new John Wayne's Dead music video. We worked on several new songs, which might get a little sneak preview of those songs on my Patreon. So that was very cool. I also got to film more with my very good friend and collaborator, Dana Marie King, Dana Graham, you know her, Octo Burrows, tattoo artist, visual artist, actress, to the stars, to the extreme. Check out our OnlyFans project Puss in Goose, PUSSNGOOSE. It is amazing. It is performance art. It's fun. It's sexy. It's artsy. It's reading smut and creating paintings. Blind wise, visually, you don't see, you hear, all of these things, auditory, boners, boobies, anything you could think of that is happening on our OnlyFans. Check it out. It is exclusive content, is only there, and these are very cool, very fun videos, and there's a lot of fun content on there. So please, that's another thing, another way to get at your boy. Doing the OnlyFans now, which it's cool. So it's a lot of fun, and we got a lot of work done on that as well. So anyway, like I was saying earlier, I was talking about the Awesome Dude for Life Boner Bonus podcast, where I talk to the interesting people, the interesting artists that I meet across this fine globe, and I like to play a little clip from what's going up on Patreon this week in the show here for you to listen to and see. Get a feel for my guests, see what they do. Hopefully just even from the clip here, you check out my guest. But, you want to hear the entire episode plus the 135 plus back episodes that are on the page. You can by joining my Patreon at patreon.com/johnwayneisdead. This week, I talked to a awesome guy, another awesome dude I met at St. Louis Author Con. He was next to me, and we hit it off right away. Not only is he an author, but he's also a musician. He was in a popular band back in the 90s that toured extensively. We talk about that on the show. He still plays solo by himself and with some bands now, but we talk all about that. And he writes these books. He's an awesome guy. J.C. Moore is who I talked to this week. And here is a little bit of my conversation with J.C. Moore, musician and author. Okay, so what I mean, like, how does that happen? Like, you're sitting around, like, oh, I can't play gigs. I'm sick of pounding my pud, like,
Hey, all that stuff. Yeah,
I got this itch, itching in my britchin to start. Something's got to come out of me. How does it then become like I'm gonna write stories or a book, or like how does that happen?
Well, when we were doing the music thing, I always wanted to write a book during that period of time, but writing a book is a lot different. Writing a song, you can get done in 10 minutes. You got yourself a great rock song. But writing a book seemed like a commitment I wasn't ready for. Mm-hmm. And I had the time. So I said, no matter what, even if this stinks, I'm going to finish this thing. And didn't know a damn thing about writing at all. And the first two things I wrote, we won't even talk about, were horrible sci-fi kind of crazy books that I didn't learn the show don't tell and all the things that.
Unfortunately, we have them both right here. Let's welcome your first two story. Come on in. Let's go.
Yeah. I'd be running.
No, yeah, of course. We all have that. Like, Jesus Christ, I have like a trunk full of stories that, at one point I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
And now, like, you look back and you're like, fuck no. Who do you think you are, little fucking bitch? Like, so yeah, of course. Like, we did. So you always wanted to do that, and then
I did.
Just kind of finally like, all right, I'm gonna take the plunge.
Absolutely. I can't believe I fell in love with it the way I have, because I'm so used to the rock and roll. You know that you do it too. I mean, it's a very visceral, exciting,
completely different. Yeah. It's a different. It feeds you differently. Like you said, you walk out on stage, one person claps. Like,
yeah,
but then you're like, also like, well, it's one person, right? I mean, it could be whatever, but whatever.
One person dug that song. See?
Yeah, exactly. Glass half full fish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I by the time I hit like number 3 with it, I finally got the hang of it and really started to love it. And the community is so freaking cool. Like, rock and roll is a little more cutthroat. I mean, there's a lot of camaraderie in it, but I mean, it could be a little more.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could find like I don't know. It seems like there's patchworks of things in our community where it is weird or stupid shit
Yeah.
crops up, and I'm like,
Oh,
what's
I do
happening?
see that.
What's
Yeah.
happening here? Like, I'm not like I don't even really like be a part. I'm glad I'm not a part of. As
I run
longtime
like
listeners
that.
know, I'm not. I do not get involved in any drama at all. That's not my
Oh
thing.
my
I
God.
don't talk
No.
about it.
Yeah.
I don't look at it. I don't give a fuck. As far as I'm concerned, you should be writing and not worrying about everyone else's bullshit. So,
Yeah. I
but
run for the hills with that stuff.
yeah, but so you said three and what was the first book that you put out that you were like, this is it, man. This is the one that's good enough, I feel, to go out there.
I switched to the kind of horror or the
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said like what do you consider your genre to be? Because I don't even think mine is horror.
it's
So
yeah, I'm moving a little, it's probably more thriller. I mean everything I am, but I also sometimes write gonzo. Uh, I'm kind of all over the map. Anything that's a little off the beaten path, I try to hit.
who are
And
your influences? What authors were you reading that you're like, okay, this is kind of up my alley.
I like
I want to
Robert
do this.
McMahon. I like, of course, all the old '80s paperback Avon horror paperbacks,
Okay,
and
did we talk about this the Robert McMahon book, The Five?
you
Have you,
did bring it up. That's one I have not read.
okay, because I'm hot and cold on him because I've read several of his books and some of them I really am like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And some I'm like, all right, but well, I guess that's like whatever. That's status quo. It's
Like
subjective or
Boys
anything.
Life is
It's
great.
it's just like whatever. Yeah, but that one is specifically about this band that is like playing in a bar and they're like, "Hey, you got the goods, kid." And then like 2 days later, they're like on a huge tour festival and they're like all this stuff that it's following them on tour. And I don't even remember what the horror element of it was because I was so incensed about like I was like, this is nothing like being on tour. This is what are you
I
talking?
love it when
I was
people
like,
who
could you
haven't been in
do
bands,
just do
right?
some research? Just talk to one person that's not like Sting or like,
Yeah.
these some huge fucking person that has no relate. Like this is like you're writing about a band of scrappy young band that gets signed at a bar, like the ultimate dream that's not never a real thing, that's
Never
just
happens that way. You gotta
that's in
sweat.
cartoons and shit. Like,
Yeah.
you got the goods, big nose, and they like fucking sign you and shit. Like, but that doesn't happen. That's a myth. And what were we talking about?
Uh, about this particular book, Robert McMahon, I
Oh, that book. So
absolutely
it's so
agree.
like I couldn't, dude. I that and his books are fucking long, right? So this
Yeah,
book is
they're
like,
huge.
600 pages or some shit. I got all the way, I want to say to like just so I'm not like lying, like we'll say 450. Pretty good chunk of the book I went through before I was like, fuck this. I can't remember what there had to have been something that was like just the last straw with me where I was like, hey,
It was just so.
2-ply toilet paper. That's it. I'm out of here. Like
Yeah, exactly. I
something.
quit the band.
Yeah, something about it. I was like, just talk to someone, please, that did this.
Yeah,
Obviously, you didn't. And it's only obvious to a small amount, a small section of people like yourself, me, like anybody else that's
yeah.
experienced that is going to look at it and be like, whatever. But, you could flip that around and be like, I'm sure there's a billion books that I've read that are like the authors like, yes, and this is how nurses work and they cut the dick off the thing, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds right to me, and I'm just going with it
Or
too.
cop stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
like
all
yeah,
that kind of stuff. It happens all the
yeah.
time. But I just this one just struck a chord with me. I get
It,
passionate.
I totally get that. Like I actually I won't name the name because I actually he's somebody who I kind of have met. I read a rock and roll book recently that was fictional, and I was like, I tried so hard because he's a cool dude, and I knew of the book, and the same kind of thing. I just couldn't. It
You're not talking
because I've
about
been
my
there.
You're not talking about my book, Toward to Death. Is this some roundabout like?
Oh no,
Okay,
no,
is this an
no.
intervention for me?
You're like,
Holy
whoa,
shit!
hold on a
My two stories come out of the back like, oh Jesus
second.
Christ! The wall lifts. You're just right over there. I'm like,
You're
oh
like,
God.
you're like, I take back everything about
No,
Jason. Where he's
no,
got the dick.
no. You're awesome. I'm just fucking. See, this is it. This is we have fun on this show. We're just fucking
Yeah.
around. But
No,
yeah.
but I
So
get it
you,
because it takes you out of the fantasy if you know. And like rock
if
and
you
roll's
know,
hard to
if you
write
know,
about.
it is.
Yeah, because it's to be honest, rock and roll's kind of boring. I mean, most of it until you're
It,
up on that stage for an hour and a half playing is a bunch of setting up,
it's a hurry up.
testing.
It's
Whoa,
hurry up and wait, dude. It's hurry
yep,
up and wait.
absolutely. Yep, yep. And it's eating Pop Tarts and it's
Like
not
getting
very
getting to
exciting.
getting to the driving 7 hours to get to the bar by 6, but you don't go
Yeah.
on till 11:30. But you have to load in at 6 and be there, and like it's just yeah, hurry up.
I got a funny story. One time we were doing a show in New York City and we drove from where I live and it was like a 7 hour drive. And we were doing a showcase and we just took a car up and I decided I was on a health kick. I wasn't going to eat junk food in the car. And my sister bought me a bunch of like stuff to take on the road. She's like, "Hey, when you go on the road, I got you some dried apricots, some so you can kind of see where this is going."
Here's
So
a
me and my
handful of
buddy,
mixed nuts. I foraged these mushrooms from the neighbor, and good luck
so
staying
me and my
healthy, brother. Goodbye.
well, imagine eating a whole bag of dried fruit before a gig,
Oh no.
and you're in New York City where the
No, they
toilets
don't let you
are
use
a
a bathroom.
whole
Oh
there's no
no.
freaking bathroom. And all of a sudden, we have like 40 minutes to get on stage, set up your gear, and play. And I'm dying. I'm literally dying.
Is
And
it
we
like
have,
emergency situation? Like
yeah, you got record labels there going, these guys, here we are, we're here. And that's all I can think about is
that
where can I
cigar
find a
smoking
toilet?
guys out there. These guys got the goods. I'm telling you.
They got the goods, and I'm just turning
You're
purple.
trying not to shit your pants.
To shit myself for an hour that we got to perform for them. But hey, you ever
Did you
tried
get
this stuff?
through it?
So, yeah, well, I did in agony, and then
Okay.
probably exploded afterwards. I'm sure. I don't remember all the
Oh
details.
Jesus
Thank
Christ.
God.
Um.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So what were you saying?
that now that's rock and roll.
So that is rock and roll. I actually have a bathroom story too that's in Toward to Death, or I used a bathroom that from a real gig in the story,
Yeah,
and it's pretty disgusting and crazy. But what are you drinking there? You held up something a minute ago.
cycling frog,
Okay,
Seattle, Tracy. Yeah.
it's a this is a THC drink, children. Wild cherry seltzer. How many milligrams is in there? 100 or
Well, I'm going lightweight right now. 5 milligrams and 10 milligrams of CBD.
there's only five
Full
milligrams
spectrum.
in that whole thing, in
Yeah.
that whole drink. Wow.
Yeah.
Um.
Because 10 kind of rocks me a little bit. And then I'd be making no sense during the interview.
Oh, I bet you would. I get at my dispensary, Oasis, shouts out. Like I told you, I think I'm on the VIP program. I don't
Yeah.
have to wait in line, and you get one free item a month, right? So I'm of course I'm there I'm there every week, twice a week, whatever. For the first, I'm like Bone Thugs. I'm like first of the month, let me get my free shit. It's the first of the month, and one of the times I got like this drink, and it was Uncle fucking Orville's old fashioned get you high lemonade. And I was like, all right. I was like, yeah, I'll get that. Cause I'm like, I'm just coming. It's like also I go at like 9 a.m. So I'm like, yeah, that's it. I'm writing all day. So whatever. And
They're opening up the door for you. You're
yeah, they're like, hello. No, that actually, Oasis opens at 7:30 a.m.
wow.
Open till 2. But then I was like, let me get that. Is 100 milligrams. Which I'm like, that's cool. Like I do 100 milligrams all the time. So I just came home and like just chugged it all and just sat there. And like I'll be sitting there like this happens to me a lot sometimes. So where I'm just like doing something and writing and I'm like, what? Just like, what is happening? Why am I high? Oh, that's right. Okay, okay. Okay, welcome back. That was my part of my conversation with author musician JC Moore. Please check it out for the rest of the discussion. Go to patreon.com/johnwayneisdead or just go to johnwayneisdead.com, hit that Patreon link, and please go check out JC Moore and see what he's got going on, see if he's coming to your town soon to mesmerize and whatever, hypnotize you. I don't know, something like that, but he will. So anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Speaking of other things, I just want to talk about, again, just remind you guys of the segment that I've been doing, little episodes that are about 6-7 minutes long of a tiny little show that I like to call Shit in John Wayne's Room. That's right. Some of you have been checking it out. I very much appreciate it. Right now, there's 4 episodes out, I believe. And I'm going through the Guitar Chronicles right now. So I'm talking about all of my instruments that are in my room, but fear not, more is coming. I'm going to be talking about different pieces of art that are here in my office and in the studio, different books that are here in the studio, and talk to you about the significance of these things, not just like, hey, look at this cool thing I got. There's stories behind these things. Some of these things have importance for different reasons. Some of them are sentimental. Some of them are funny reasons why they hold value. So check out that. That's just on the John Wayne is Dead YouTube channel. That once it's been up there. Check those out. They come out every Monday, and they are also a lot of fun. So anyway, like I was saying before in the show, if you have any questions for me, anything that you want to talk about that we talked about in the show, books, movies, all those kind of things that we've been covering, go to johnwayneliedtoyou@gmail.com, shoot us a message, and we will read it on the air, and we will answer the question on the air. What the fuck is this, live? Like, I'm like, hey, and this just in, everything still sucks. So no, this isn't live, but okay, I think it's time just to move it right along to our first segment of the show today. What you reading for?
What you reading for?
Okay, this week in What You Reading For, this of course is the segment where I talk to you guys about books that I've read recently. I've been voraciously reading, and I have a lot to talk about on some of these books. Now, these aren't necessarily all book recommendations, they're reviews, but I'm not trashing anything. I'm not talking bad about anything at all. Everything that I'm going to tell you about is something that I liked, or I wouldn't tell you about it, but I'm going to give you the honest, like, hey, if this works or it doesn't. Anyway, just letting you know what you reading for this week. A book I actually read very recently that I thought was super awesome. It's called Raising Hell: Backstage Tales from the Lives of Metal Legends, and this is by John Wiederhorn. John Wiederhorn is not just a author, he is also a music journalist and a podcaster, but he writes books primarily about music books. These kind of books are my bread and butter. I love to read. They're not my bread and butter. I don't know what the fuck I mean by that, but I mean, they're right up my alley. They're like candy to me. I just have to eat them. I just have to devour them, which is why I took this book down so quickly. That sounds awesome phrasing. Anyway, I did take it down like a duck take to water. He's written books also about Ministry, the band Ministry, not going out and being a minister, and also Anthrax, several other metal acts. He's more like into the heavy metal, hard rock side of things, which is great. I love that. I love this book. So what this book is like, it's an oral history type of book, where and by that I mean, when you read, some of when you read these kind of music books, like, man, I could grab one right here from the shelf, but it's like, maybe I will, so fuck it. Do whatever I want, Coco. Oh, Jesus. So, books like this one. Now, I don't have a physical copy of the book we're talking about today, Raising Hell, or else I would have it here. I had the digital copy. But anyway, this copy of Please Kill Me, so you can see there's just like, every chapter will be like Lee Childress, Jerry Nolan, a paragraph that they say, Lee Childress, and it's talking through that. It's like that person, that particular artist is talking, right? That's what this book is. It goes like Ozzy Osbourne, blah, 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 says all these things, and you're like, oh, remember that time when Sharon told me to build a music home? And they tell a story. And he has like people like Ozzy in there, yeah, but the author makes it very clear in the intro that yes, we all know about these stories of, the king, like super popular metal bands, i.e., like a Motley Crue, that have done all these crazy things, that have their own books about their crazy things, their own movies about their own crazy things. He has Ozzy, but he said he's not gonna. We didn't want to cover those things that everyone knows about and they expect to have. He more talks to some newer bands like that are like from 19, not newer like brand new, but newer in the sense of like he doesn't just talk to Black Sabbath and like Led Zeppelin and that's it. Like these are, Lamb of God, Anthrax, all members of that band, members of Marilyn Manson. Um, just he talks to what was that band called? Venom, members of Venom, not them, yes, them, but a band called Raven. He talks to those guys a lot. They have a lot of crazy fucking stories. So they just go from person to person throughout, and like the chapters are, drugs, and they'll tell a drug story, or it'll be fights, and it'll be time they got into a fight, either with the bandmate or someone in the crowd or something like that. But drinking stories, party stories, gig stories, road stories. They're just all kind of put in those chapters, and you get to hear the stories through these artists' eyes. And it just like, just like I said, it just goes person to person, like Scott Ian, Anthrax, da da da. And he's like, hey, I'm Scott Ian, and then one time I got drunk with Lemmy and blah blah blah. And it's a cool ass story that's really in the book too. So I don't know if this sounds rambling or interesting. I think if you're into these kind of books, you're gonna really like this, especially if you like any kind of like tales from the road or behind the music type information or type content, I guess you could say. This is going to be a great book that'll be right up your alley. I highly, highly recommend this book to people who enjoy metal, people who enjoy music in general, and if you just like to hear crazy stories about people being crazy, rock star wise, this is the book for you. So again, check it out. It's called Raising Hell, Backstage Tales from the Lives of Metal Legends, and it is by John Wiederhorn. And like I said, awesome guy. A lot of work. Check out his podcast and check out his other books as well. So that is our segment of What You Reading For? Okay, so check out that book and more to come. I've got I've got a whole shelf over here of books I almost knocked over that are just like that, just oral histories where they talk to the artists and get little snippets from them. And, I love them. Great books. You want any more recommendations? Hey, email me, johnwayneliedtoyou@gmail.com. Happy to recommend some more of these awesome music books to you. But, speaking of recommendations, somebody is here once again today to bring you one of their personal recommendations. That's right, everybody. Without further ado, it's Mom's Movie Corner. Mom? Thank you, John Wayne. Welcome to Mom's Movie Corner, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another week of a very special Mom's Movie Corner. It's special because this is a movie that my dear son John Wayne brought back from his trip this weekend for me for my VHS VCR collection. It's called The Mangler. I have it right here. Now, this is our movie of the week here, and this movie is from 1995, and it is directed by Tobe Hooper of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre fame, and possibly Poltergeist, but there's a little bit of maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but we know and we love him, Tobe Hooper. He directed this. It stars Robert Englund. Heard that name before? Maybe. He's Freddy Krueger. Also, it stars, his name is Ted Levine. Now, he is famous for being in a movie called Silence of the Lambs. He played a man named Buffalo Bill, who was very fond of having very smooth skin, so he always had lotion available. Buffalo Bill, his name is Ted Levine. He talks very interesting. He's got a very interesting drawl to the way he speaks. I don't know, it's like some kind of accent. Anyway, The Mangler. So, this is based on a short story by Stephen King, which proves that Stephen King can write a story about anything and make it a monster, and Hollywood, will take that and make a movie out of it no matter what. Perfect example, The Mangler. The Mangler is about a haunted industrial laundry machine that is killing the workers, going on a killing spree. It's a very interesting movie. It started very, innocently enough. I got sucked. I got hooked in. I got sucked off. I got sucked into it. And it starts very innocently enough. These people, these ladies are working in very rough working conditions in this big industrial laundry factory type place, and the foremen are yelling at them and work harder, ladies. Are you working harder? Work harder than that. And they're trying to hurry and do things and put the sheets in this thing that's called the Mangler, but it's really like the industrial sheet folder or something. It's very scary machine. There's big chains. I don't know how these things even got made or worked in those days, but it's very scary on its own, haunted or not. Now, somebody's putting a sheet in. As somebody walks by with the refrigerator, I know, right? Bump into the one woman, she cuts her hand, blood goes all over the machine, she almost gets sucked in. Oh my gosh, it's very scary, but they save her. She gets away with just a hand, the cut of the hand. And the main boss comes out, he's yelling, ladies, what are you stupid, you stupid idiots. And that's Robert Englund. He plays the main owner. He's a very evil man in this. He wants people to work very hard. And turns out he knew this thing was haunted the whole time. He has to make some deal with some devil inside of it to make sacrifices to it. Ted Levine is somehow a detective that just kind of shows up and maybe gets assigned to the case. I don't know. I don't even know if he's really a cop. He doesn't seem to go to any precinct or anything like that. But anyway, regardless, this machine starts eating people at a rapid rate. First, they get the cut. Then, this old lady's got stomach problems. She's taking antacid. She trips and then they get it. She's dead. They stop everything. You think that if somebody gets mangled in the Mangler, they would shut down production for a week at least. They're right back at it that night. They got the night crew on. They're folding, they're popping, they're shucking, they're jiving. Another guy gets sucked in the thing. What do you think? Then what happens? Oh, we're going to try to fix it. The foreman gets sucked. It just keeps happening. And you keep wondering it. At some point, you just want to, Stephen, Toby, I want to buy into this. But what are we doing? How many people have to die before we just shut this machine down? We stop production. The police are already involved. I don't know. Apparently, Robert Englund's character's got everyone in his pockets. I don't know how it works. It takes a little bit of time in the middle. It stretches. You're like, what's going on? And then at the end, you're like, oh, it becomes a monster. And I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say hilarity ensues. So, this, The Mangler, 1995, directed by the great Tobe Hooper, starring Robert Englund, Ted Levine. From Mom's Movie Corner, we give this one 2 middle-y thumbs up. Good, too long, but a gem addition to my VHS VCR collection. Thank you, John Wayne, for that. And that's been Mom's Movie Corner. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Thanks, Mom. Mom's Movie Corner, everybody. The Mangler. Yes, that's right. I did bring that back for my mother for her VHS collection of horror movies that she likes to collect. So, I, of course, always am there to oblige my dear sweet mother. So, anyway, thanks, Mom, for that. Moving right along, like she said, I got that for her this past weekend. at the show, I'm going to tell you all about that. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I was in Houston and San Antonio this past week, staying very, very busy with rehearsals at Chris Jett's house. He and I, like I said, we shot a whole brand new video, which is I'm super excited about. It's just a story all the way through. You very rarely see. There's just glimpses that I put in of us playing the actual song. So it's not like a music video in the sense of a performance video. It is a story video, and it's pretty cool. We had a lot of fun doing it and putting it together. So hopefully that'll be out very soon. We have a lot of new songs that we're working on, so we were working very hard on that kind of stuff. And I took one of my rigs down to Chris's house in Houston at our practice space and left it there. So now I know we're in different cities. Those of you who don't know, the band I play in, John Wayne is Dead. Just myself and Chris Jett. He lives in Houston. I live in Las Vegas. So in my studio in Vegas, he's got a drum kit here, and of course all of his stuff back home. And now finally, I was able to take a whole, one of my amps and one of my guitars to his house, that they will stay there and be there for practice and there for gigs when I go there, and I won't have to haul a bunch of equipment around. But damn, I was playing my Gretsch SJ522, I think it is. It's the slimmer Gretsch Electromatic that I have. That's the Georgia Green. If you watched Shit in John Wayne's Room, I talk about this guitar. It looks like it's seafoam sparkly green, but it's called Georgia Green. And I'm playing it through my Engel. This is little gear nerd stuff. I'm playing it through my Engel Screamer 50 watt that I have tube, and it's coming through one 12-inch Celestion speaker in one cabinet, just like that. And it sounds awesome. Jesus Christ, it sounds so fucking good. So we had a blast just getting to rehearse for hours and hours and hours, drinking beers, rehearsing, writing new songs, recording videos. It was a lot of just like boom, 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 crazy. Also, like I was saying earlier, then I had a whole, evening where I shot down to meet up with Dana, and we shot more Puss and Goose OnlyFans content for a few hours. Then she had to go to a different shoot, and I had to go back to rehearsal. So it was like bam, bam, bam. We were just constantly working and moving. And then last Friday was my birthday. Thank you to everyone who sent me birthday love, everyone who sent me a little gas money. I was on the road, I was driving. It was very much appreciated. But then, I had a show. I picked up the show that I was doing in San Antonio. I've never done before, put on by a group, a market like Kings of Horror, but this one was Children of Horror, was what it was called, because the guest was the young man who played Georgie in the recent It movies. I can't remember his name, but that's him nonetheless. So that was a 2-day thing, Saturday and Sunday, and Chris Jett was going to go with me, and so we got a hotel room and all this stuff. And then also at the last minute, the illustrious Nick P showed up, and he was like, I'll go with you too. So we got the boys are back. The band was back together. All three of us had a grab-assery of a good time on the ride down there. And, we just so happened, like, we were looking when we booked a hotel room. Chris was like, yeah, this one says it's 3 minutes away from the venue. And I was like, all right, let's get that one. Turned out it was in the same parking lot as the venue, which was a mall. So that was awesome. Like, I loved that. So we just had to load in shit once, and then we could walk back and forth. But this gig, I want to talk about it. So it was a market, like a pop-up market. I talk about those all the time, as you bring all your own shit, your table, all that kind of stuff. It's not a big convention, where it's 3 days and ballrooms and all that kind of shit. It's usually a little bit smaller. This was very, very big, and it was in a mall. Now, I guess like these days, malls are pretty fucking barren and shit. Nobody, I mean, here in Las Vegas, yeah, they have the mall. Our malls here are like crazy and shit, because a lot of people, tourists come here to shop, like, and people come from, other countries to shop here in Las Vegas for whatever reason. So the malls here like are a little bit different, but you go back home like to Houston where I'm from, the Greenspoint Mall is closed down. They're making condos out of that. I went to any mall I've been to lately seems like it's just gradually dying. Now this mall was whatever it did everything very smart. Attached to it is like this kind of Chuck E. Cheese like place. It's not Chuck E. Cheese, but it's like that. It's got a huge roller rink, all these video games, pizza, fucking video, all kinds of crazy shit. And people are in there having birthday parties, they're having kid things. It was bumping. And then that leads into the mall. Now this whole one kind of part of the top of the mall was kind of sectioned off similar to like how a big flea market is. Everyone has their own stalls of things. So that was kind of like a separate deal. And then downstairs is where everybody set up for the market. And it was sprawling. Like it took when we walked it, it was just one side of the mall all the way down to the next. Like when you thought it was ending, there'd be like somebody else setting up a table like, oh, here I am, I made it, got my table. It just kept going and going and going. So we were like, all right, this thing is looks like it's gonna be pretty big. So it was a Saturday Sunday event. So Friday was my birthday. We went to this awesome bar called the R&R, and we had a really good time. Nick and Chris and we were just like, it was a bar across the street from the hotel, like we could get right to and back, no big deal. We didn't want to be driving around or anything like that. So we found the closest bar, and that was it. Brought us across the street, brought up pictures of it. It looked like a kind of dirty dive bar. And all right, let's just go in there. So we went, and Chris and Nick and I are sitting at the bar, and it took us about 15 minutes maybe to realize that we were in a gay bar. And we were having a good old time, a gay old time, if you will. We were like, oh shit, okay, all right. And like a DJ started, and we were like, but then she would be like, California knows how to pod. And I was like, man, we are having a good time. And it was a great fucking time. We were there for a little while. We definitely had some shots and stuff, and it was a good time. I appreciate it. But the next day we go to the show, and it was very cool. But like, let me tell you, this mall was also super cool. It had this one monster store that was amazing, which is where I got the Mangler for my mother on VHS. And it's just a whole horror store that it had cassettes, vinyl. She had VHSs, toys. It was just a cool ass store to see in a mall, let alone like these days, right? Then in the food court, there was a place called Spaceballs that did they did cake pops and fucking jalapeno poppers and all kinds of like little like kind of snack foods like that were awesome. We got some of those that had they were like habanero poppers with mango in them. Fucking awesome. I mean, this is in a mall food court. And then next to it is like a bakery called the Grimm, like a Grimm Bakery. It was a horror themed bakery. Then there was a punk rock owned like burger place right next to that. That's called like Sorry We're Punks. And they don't have even like their menus like, today we got this, today we got, I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. And, Chris Jett and Nick P and I not only had a good time like just doing the show, but checking out this mall. If you people watching the video right now see this shirt I'm wearing, it says Matt Skiba. It's a Skiba. It's a picture of him. This is a bootleg shirt. Of course, it looks like that. It is bootleg because this mall had in the like flea market area just had bootleg shirts that were like $8. Just so many fucking shirts. And, San Antonio is very close to Mexico, so you're getting a lot of stuff like that coming in. But, I mean, we were like kids in a bootleg store. I don't know. It was an awesome, awesome mall. The only drawback of this show was, and this is partially shame on me, guys, okay? If you follow me on social media, I talked about it. I posted it, but my battery was stolen from behind my table at the show. And by that I mean, like, I have this one of those like portable batteries that I plug my lights into for my booth. And I've had it for a while. I am used to, I guess, like, at some certain shows, I can leave that behind my table charging, because I was charging it up against the pillar that was behind my table. There was no like, this wasn't like like somebody could be confused like this was out in the open. This was like behind my table in like this squared off like section where you couldn't be behind there. Now, I did ask specifically. I asked my neighbor, I was like, hey, what's the deal with this? Do we have to tear everything down? What do we do? He's like, no, it's fine. And then I asked the organizer, I said, hey, is there any extra things I need to do, or we can just put like the cover over it like usual and we're good. And he's like, yeah, just that's fine. That's absolutely fine. We have people and then the roll will be closed and da da da. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had the battery. It wasn't under the table. It was, like I said, it was behind the table where my signs are, underneath the legs of my sign, charging. Before we were leaving, Chris said, do you want to take this with us? And I was like, no, let's leave it there to charge. Next day we get there, it's gone. Now, my lights are still there. They're still on the ground. Nothing else is missing from behind the table, under the table. I guess somebody just was walking by, saw it, and they unplugged it. They took the cord with it too that it was plugged in with, and it was gone. So that was a bummer. It was a real bummer. But it wasn't worth me throwing a fit over or even making a huge stink about. I talked to the organizer. We got it squared away. We got it squared, so that's good. But it was just a bummer of a start to that day. But I was like, fuck it, guys. Let's start drinking whiskey at 9:30 or 10 a.m. or whatever it was, and just go, travel on, you Christian soldiers, and that's what we did. We just went on through the day, and it was a really good show. I will be back at that show for sure at some point. I think they do them like maybe once a month or something like that. I'll be back when I'm on that side of the country and I can do another one, but it was a fun first show, kind of 2-day like a birthday excursion, and I appreciate everyone who came out. Hopefully, hey, maybe some of the people I met are checking out the podcast right now. Thank you guys so much. So, it was a great show. It was a good time. Then we, after it was over Sunday, we just shot right back to Houston, slept our little tired booties, and then I got up ass early and started driving my ass back to Las Vegas, which is where you find me right now here in Las Vegas. So, it was a great week, a great trip, and a great first show of the year. So more good things are coming. I want to drop this little thing at the very end here, but March 8th, my new novel will be released. I can't give too much more information, but you can start looking for teasers coming very soon, little hints and video teasers and such, for my new book. It will be called Game Face, March 8th. So check that out. And thank you for checking out another episode of John Wayne Lied to You. I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget, you can go to johnwayneisdead.com for everything about me that you need to know, get, or obsess over. My shop is there. You can get any book that I have, all of my stuff. I will sign it. I will send you extra goodies because I appreciate you so much. Plus, my schedule is on there as well. And see if I'm coming to your show or your city soon. Check us out or hit me up. Hey, John Wayne Lied to You @gmail.com. Let me know if I should come to your town, to your show, or just any questions you'd like to ask me. So I appreciate you all so much. Please forget to not forget to follow me at John Wayne is Dead on social medias, and I appreciate you so much. Don't forget to check out Shit in John Wayne's Room on the YouTube channel and subscribe to the John Wayne Lied to You YouTube channel. And I will see you guys next week.